But I'm a fucking dragon slayer, Rock. The fuck you call a dragon slayer when he ain't got no dragons to slay? I'm ready to go back to war next to y'all.
Now, how will Lou help Rock win this war against Unique? It is a timely return because Rock is going to need him, because of everything that's happening with Stefano and the Italians, Marvin making a couple of mistakes. Rock's organization is about to be hit yet again. Unique's going to be coming for the Chinese restaurants, and with the trouble with her transportation, with the Chinese restaurants being burned down, that genuinely leaves Rock's organization in ruins. How does she manage to move this amount of product with no transportation, nowhere to sell, and a crumbling infrastructure? How does she explain this to Hafiz and the Afghans? That's why I always had Unique winning come the end of Season 4, which was a prediction I made a couple of weeks ago. It just felt right for someone who's taken a lot of L's in raising Kanan to finally get a victory over Rock and the Thomases, even though it's just a kind of small victory in the grand scheme of things, because we still need to see Season 5 of course. But we still haven't even mentioned he's also going to be targeting Kanan Stark. That's another problem for Rock. We are also going to be seeing a scene with Lou and Kanan. In the exclusive pictures that they dropped, we've got Kanan and Lou at Cafe Vu, and hopefully Lou's telling Kanan, get his head straight. Marvin said that boy needed a belt back in 407, so I do hope Lou's giving him some strong words. But problems with the Italians, Unique attacking her organization, no product being moved, and they've also been hit in the streets and also going to be coming under heavy gunfire. How does the Dragon Slayer, so to speak, respond with Rock? In this breakdown, we're going to be talking all things Lou post episode 409, his timely return, why I think Lou should be feared, the help of B. Rilla, but also why he may need to keep one eye on law enforcement in Raising Kanan Season 4. Now, since the beginning of Season 4, Lou did try his hand at being a regular civilian. In my breakdown for 409, I played the clip of Tommy Egan from Go Season 3, where he told Tariq, you're either a civilian or a gangster, there's no in between. He was previously a gangster, but after everything that happened with D-Wiz, Scrappy's mom, and everything else, it sent him on a downward spiral. When he came back to work with Mr. Gelfand at his record label, which started in episode 402. He was doing his thing with music, but in the back of his mind was, what happened to fame? In the back of his mind was always the streets. He's a killer. That's what Lou is. I don't think he's made to be anybody's employee, where he's told he has to work with this person or that person. We saw it with Imani Okoye back in 404, but when she told him she was done working with him, we saw the change in his character. We saw the change in his demeanor. We saw that he was back to being Lou Thomas. He didn't hesitate to show Kenyatta and Julius why he doesn't need a crew behind him. He sure didn't hesitate in pulling the trigger. And he definitely didn't hesitate when he made the decision to quit his position at the record label. Now, after he was done with Mr. Gelfand, he told Rock he's back. He wants to be there by her side to go to war with the Thomases. Everything that he's been through before, he didn't get messed up because he thought it was wrong. It messed him up because he felt as if it was right. But now that he's come to terms and made peace with it, made peace with who he actually is and who he actually wants to be. Again, coming back around to Tommy Egan's quote of a gangster or a civilian, Lou was choosing the path of being a gangster. Now that he's made peace with it, he's ready to get back to work, and having Lou by Rock's side is a real added bonus. He's the guy who gets shit done, and I think we are going to see more of what Kanan's narration said back in Season 1, the guy to get shit done and get shit done right. His name was heard loud and clear in the streets. Kenyatta said it in the bookstore back in 408. B. Rilla said the same. Kenyatta and Julius would have had a problem if the old Lou Thomas was around. Let's remember, Unique also tried to recruit him to his organization, and he was also the first person he targeted when he was back up on his feet. Ask the question, why? Why Lou Thomas? It's because Lou Thomas is feared because of what he's done before, and also because everyone knows what he's capable of. And having Lou Thomas back, him looking rejuvenated, you can see it in his eyes, you can see it in his demeanor, his attitude, the way he's talking, and the way he's now carrying himself. The smirk at the end of episode 408. He's back to being the gangster that Rock needs by her side, that's for sure. And that's where he was at the end of episode 409. We saw both Rock and Lou walking into Unique's tailor shop, and the big question is, what are they going to do here? What are they going to say? What can they say when they're in their enemy's backyard? We know Rock saw Kanan coming out of here earlier on, and no doubt that is going to be one of the hot topics. We know Rock doesn't hold back. We know how much Rock still loves Kanan. She said it back in 401, but when Rock wants to say her piece, she definitely will. She doesn't hold back. Lou will also probably have a few words to say as well. It's going to be a real feisty conversation that will probably be right at the beginning of episode 10. I am expecting episode 10 to pick up right from where they left off from episode 409, with Lou and Rock coming to Unique's, and I think it's gone beyond the point of reasoning with Unique. I think Rock knows there's no reasoning with this Unique compared to how he was back in Season 1. They had a couple of conversations in Season 1 at the park, where they met on mutual turf. But having these sensible conversations with Unique, that's long gone, that's season 1 stuff. This Unique is way too hot-headed. I do think we have seen a little smoothness from him in season 4, but it's been very limited. And it's now been replaced by anger, vengeance, and revenge. He's definitely got a short fuse. So I do think once this conversation is over, we'll see the episode just completely taking off. As soon as they're done here, plans are going to be in place. Both of them are going to get locked and loaded, ready to hit each other. And it's just a matter of whether they can sustain that pressure that Unique brings. Especially with Akbar and the Trenton guys. I'm sure having Lou by Rock's side is a huge bonus. He'll definitely be there to advise Rock, because she definitely won't be listening to Marvin's advice, that's for sure. So definitely great to have Lou back. She's going to need him for a lot more than just this meeting with Unique. The old Lou Thomas is definitely going to be needed, that's for sure.
I need work, Lou. I'm not afraid to get gully out here either.
Now with Lou, there's also the potential to maybe draft in B Rilla. After Lou left Mr. Gelfand's record label, it kind of does leave B Rilla in the lurch, because Lou's the one who vouched for him back in 402. If it wasn't for Lou, then Mr. Gelfand would never have helped him or brought him back on board. Without Lou, B Rilla is going to be probably kicked to the curb. However, he is someone who's still very raw and volatile, and also isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He told Lou if he's got any kind of work for him, he isn't afraid to get gully. And that's something we have to keep in mind going into episode 10, and also maybe in season 5. That's only if B Rilla isn't killed off in episode 10. It would be a real shame to see B Rilla catch a bullet, because he does also have a young family to look after. But that also can't be ruled out either. We know how this works in Power. When they start humanizing characters, when they start adding depth like this, it should definitely ring a few alarm bells. Hopefully not, but one thing's for sure, B Rilla will definitely be back. Lou will be drafting him in for some work, and with the Thomas' situation the way it is, I do think he does need a bit of help. I've previously said that Lou often works best on his own, but there are times where you do need some backup. You need a driver or someone else to have an extra pair of eyes on a particular situation. So, B Rilla getting in the thick of the action in episode 10, and maybe even going into season 5, he definitely will be there. I just hope these two aren't left without B Rilla, because we know the risks, and I'm sure he does too. We know Unique is going to take no prisoners. Anybody rolling with Rock and the Thomases can get it at any single time. But moving on to the problem with law enforcement. Now, law enforcement in my opinion are a huge problem. It just seems as if there's way too much mess in Queens for them to not at least pick up a small win. No matter how small or big the win is, I do think there's way too much mess for them to not at least get their hands on one of these guys. And this is the problem for Lou and B Rilla. They're circling around the murders of Kenyatta and Julius. They've warned them not to skip town because they've got their eyes on both. They even asked Imani Okoye if it was okay if they could circle back. And we all know she wasn't exactly happy to be an accomplice. Lou said he was at Imani Okoye's at around 11, but she didn't exactly confirm that. Whether they can find anything to make this stick or either get Lou or B Rilla. As I said in my Marvin character arc breakdown, plot armor in the world of Power is pretty crazy. At times, I do wish it wasn't. I wish we saw another Ghost situation from season 4, where he got the handcuffs slapped on his wrist by Angela, where he was thrown into prison for half a season, where the walls looked like they were really closing in. So will we be questioning anything similar when it comes to any of these situations involving law enforcement? Even though I do think it is quite unlikely, we have to keep that option open and ask the question, because there is always a chance. Like I said before, there are way too many murders, way too much mess, and there is also going to be a hell of a lot more surprises come episode 10. They could even bring B Rilla in and use dirty tactics to force his hand. We know he's got a young family to provide for, and we've seen law enforcement do it countless of times on Power. They use thumbscrews and weaknesses to strong-arm people to either work with them or give up information. The law enforcement situation is definitely one to keep a close eye on. Even though history in the world of Power has proven law enforcement definitely suck, but can they actually make one of these stick, even if it isn't this one with Lou? Will they pick up any kind of win, no matter how big or small? But that's a breakdown of where we are with Lou Thomas in the final episode for season 4. It's a timely return, but will it be enough to help Rock stave off this attack from Unique and keep her on top in Queens? Could he draft in B Rilla, and could he help with something? Could he end up being a casualty? And will law enforcement be a problem? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.